Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my third video on my channel reviewing audiobooks. Today's audiobook I'm going to be reviewing is Star Wars Darth Plaguels, which is a franchise book published in 2012 for the Star Wars franchise. It was written by a James Lucronin and read by a Daniel Davis. Saying that, it also features sound effects and voiceovers, and just general special effects, I guess you can call them sound special effects for an audiobook. Or James as an author or as a writer, I thought he was really good. I thought he wrote this. This is actually one of my favourite audiobooks at the moment recently that I've listened to. I think he did a really good job adding to the Star Wars story in general. I know it's not considered canon at this stage, but I think Star Wars would be crazy, or Disney would be crazy not to use the story in Darth Plagueis for future references and just for general references when it comes to canon, because it was well written and it's just a good story to tell from the dark side point of view. As for Daniel as the narrator, I also thought he was really good. He did a good job with changing it up with different characters and the way they sound and stuff like that. Did different voices and stuff. That was really good. I think he suited the main characters, which was good. That was all good. This audiobook introduces you to Darth Plagueis, of course. It also introduces you to Palpatine, which I would argue is the main character of this story, even though it is called Darth Plagueis. We also get references of Darth Maul, who plays a small to medium part, Qui-Gon Jinn, young Obi-Wan when he's an apprentice, young Padme, Anakin Skywalker makes a little appearance as well. That's really good. The story is basically set for probably a 20 to 30 year period between the time that Darth Plagueis is an apprentice and betrays his master, Darth Tiberius, I think his name was, from memory, to the time that he picks up Palpatine as an apprentice, to the start of, in the movies, the start of episode 1. So you actually see Palpatine grow up from a 17-year-old in this storyline to basically the age he is when he is in The Phantom Menace, Episode 1, Star Wars, which you see in this story. You see The Phantom Menace from Palpatine's point of view, and Darth Plagueis' point of view, and Darth Maul's point of view, which makes it actually a really interesting point of view, very interesting, adds a lot to the Phantom Menace story, I believe. After listening to the audiobook, I actually decided to watch the Phantom Menace again and sort of enjoyed it in a different way than what I had previously. So that was cool. In a way, it made Palpatine one of my favourite characters in the Star Wars universe now that I've actually listened to the audiobook. Before, I didn't really have a favourite, but now my favourite have to be Palpatine. I reckon he's pretty cool. he's messed up, but he's cool. And he's powerful. So, yeah. So Darth Plagueis, if anyone can remember, is referenced once, I believe, in the prequels. Star Wars Episode 3, with the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, who was trying to manipulate life and trying to become immortal. Also in this audiobook, there is more reference about Anakin's, how Anakin came to be, how he existed, and it seems to be more likely that he came into being because of Darth Plagueis messing around with the midi-chlorians and messing around with the Force in general. He was like a mad scientist, basically. And to be honest, even though he was on the dark side and he killed people for sure, he doesn't come across as evil like Palpatine does. And I think that's how Palpatine ends up killing his master and overpowering his master, because he is evil. And Plagueis just wasn't ready for it. You also have Darth Maul, which obviously with the rule of 2, you're sort of trying to wonder why Darth Maul even exists. Because in The Phantom Menace, it was revealed in this book that Darth Plagueis is still around and is actually pulling the strings as the true master of the dark side during that entire movie, basically. And Darth Sidious, or Palpatine, was sort of just pretending to be the master, and Darth Maul was originally just a goon that they sort of trained a little bit into the Force, but they were never planning on training completely, or at least Plagueis wasn't planning on him being trained completely. He was just a tool, a means to an end, to get things done. But obviously Palpatine took him on as a full-blown apprentice behind Plagueis' back, and Maul didn't even know that Plagueis exists. So that's also an interesting part of the story as well. So highly recommend listening to this audiobook. I was a bit skeptical listening to a franchisee type audiobook. I was also a bit skeptical about listening to an audiobook that had sound effects and things like that. Like you've got the lightsabers and you've got airlocks opening and all that stuff, but it actually really adds to the experience, and it makes it really cool and interesting and something different as well than just listening to some person reading. So I'd have to, out of 5, I'd have to give this 5 out of 5. Definitely check it out and enjoy it. So that's my review. Thank you. Bye.